Welcome to Legacy Conversations, a channel where we preserve military memories and history.
Hello Internet, we are back and I must tell you I'm excited for several reasons. I've got Brigadier General Dr. Sereko here with me, also known as Peter Marcelino or something like that. Apologize for doing that to your name, sir. I remember a Navy officer, a SEAL officer from the US Navy with that kind of name. And he was running these false flag of, type of operations. And he was actually suspended out of the Navy. He was too good. He just went up in exercises and blew them all up. But anyway, that doesn't matter now. We are continuing with a story. You'll remember in the first episode, guys, if you haven't seen it, please don't look at it. It's important for you to know where the man comes from. Now, basically, we started at his birth. He went to school, did quite a few jobs, and then he ended up in the Army in 21 Battalion. He's got a superb record as an infantry officer. Then they chose him for jails. Now, there is one question, General, I have to ask you. One guy asked me privately, he says to me, now the General said he really struggled with shooting. The Colonel said you shoot cock or something like that in one of the interviews. But yet you're wearing a skidpalkie on your... So you must have improved as a shooting, I think you...
That's what I think is one of the points which I say when I come now to 2-1, yeah.
That's wonderful. There you go. So thank you. So thank you for coming back to us. I'm really happy about it. Yeah. I'm going to keep quiet now, guys. Also, I'm using a new program, Teams. Forgive me if it looks a bit strange or different. I'm still learning. And no problem. Yeah. So I'm going to keep quiet, and then it's over to you to tell us when you get back from jails now what happens, because they cheated you out of being a lieutenant. Now you are, I suppose, a corporal. It's your story. I'm keeping quiet.
Morning, course. I came back now. I've reported back from infantry school to 2-1 Battalion. That was now end of 1987. Now I joined my mother unit 2-1 Battalion, where the Commandant is still Hannes Smith. And on arrival at 2-1, the 10 of us, we were allocated different companies. But I ended up at HQ company. Now, HQ company, the commander there was Louis Legrange. It was the son of the former South African Minister of Police during the apartheid era. And Louis Legrange Sr. had an illustrious political career, serving in various ministerial roles in tourism, public works 1978, 1979, presence 1979, 1980, police 1979 to 1982, and law and order 1982 to 1986, under the Prime Minister P.W. Botha. He later became the 13th Speaker of the House of Assembly of South Africa in 1987 to 1991. That was now the Minister Louis Legrange. Now in this headquarters, HQ company, we had the infrastructure troops. Those were now the battalion signalers, company signalers, battalion storemen, and company storemen, battalion clerks, company clerks, and we had also collectors, which were trained within an intelligence role to do some collection and to make sure that they safeguard the unit lines and all that other things. Yes, we met with Louis. Very huge. Young Louis, my commander, was an imposing figure. He was a big in his shoulder muscles, biceps and triceps, filled out in his uniform. And when he moved, it was like a shirt was going to rip off. That's how big he was. But a very, very, very cool commander. We went along very well. And I remember I told him when we met, just to discuss our working relationship, where do I fit in? Where does he fit in on my daily routine? And I told him, listen, I will always be there. By 5:30, I will be at the company lines to make sure that the troops are awake and they are ready to eat and the inspection. But the inspection, his inspection, I will invite him. The reason why, because I have to make sure I prepare that inspection, because the aim of the inspection, there are three things. It's normally uniformity, cleanliness, and completeness. It means the standard within the bungalow, there's uniformity. Everybody's equipment must be the same, and they must be clean. They must be complete. Not you find one troop, you got a pair of boots, the other one does not have, or the other one got two, the other one got one. So the standard was 2 pairs of boots, 1 pair of tekkies, 4 pairs of underwears, 4 pairs of trousers, 4 pairs of t-shirts, and we had step outs also. We had everything. So we agree on the modus operandi. And when I was now introduced to the troops, I know some of the members I met there was Rifleman Ledwaba, which currently he's a Brigadier General at HR Division currently. He was one of my troops. And then the other one was Sergeant Major Dibakwan. He was a rifleman by that time, and we grew up together. We attended school together, and we came from the same street. We were just staying opposite to each other. So he ended up becoming a Logi, and Ledwaba ended up becoming an HR. And there was people like Mujela, Mukhibe, Jomo Maile, all those people. So they were my troops. And I remember one day, my first inspection, I came in the morning, and I think Ledwaba gave the command, bungalow attention. And I walked through, he joined me and I looked through, and I asked the troops, who are you? They introduced myself and all that. But later I said, listen, what I'm not happy is the floor. It's still dirty. And I could hear their murmuring to say, no, Corporal, but the place. I said, no, it's not dirty because there were some scratches and all that. I said, okay, move away from your bed, come and make a circle around me. And I showed them the spot marks. You see where you are, sometimes the bed is scratching the floor. Now they want to come with excuses. They don't have that, they don't have that. I said, no, even you don't have steel wool. Remember, we were issuing steel wool by that time, brass and all those things. But I think they didn't go and fetch from the QM. The things were there in the QM. Then I showed them, I said, okay, you go outside. It was the back one. Get me sand. He came with the sand, drop it on the floor. We take water from the bucket. We put the foot in, and I took a cloth and we scratch. And the marks got off. So they could see, I said, listen, because the inspection was not right. When I blow my whistle out of the bungalow, you go 3 times around, then you form up in front of the bungalow. And I blow the whistle. They did as I told them, and they end up forming up at the bungalow. Then I said, when I blow my whistle again, you go to the fire bucket, you go and catch fish. There are no fish farm. It means they go there, they end up putting their hands into the fire bucket because it's water. Now you must know, south of Johannesburg in the morning, it's very cold. So the water is also sometimes very cold. So you could see they are putting their hands down there. And when my whistle blow, they take out. And they didn't like the thing of catching fish. Then I said, when I blow my whistle, you are in, you get your eating utensils, we go for breakfast. But I could hear one of the guys say, hey, yeah, we got a reller now, a little corporal now, he's going to come and deal with us. So I also started getting the nickname Little Corporal. No, we went, so it was still the early of January. But now, all of a sudden, the troops are preparing. We heard that we are going for deployment in Namibia. First, we're going to do training and all that. So we had now to prepare, sort out our medical, our kit inspection and all that. But a few days later, I just heard Major Legrand telling me, listen, most of these troops will have to deploy earlier. So in the middle of January, they had to leave. So I prepared them, I invited them for inspection. The kit, uniform was complete, PRCs, everything was just in place. There was no shortages, nothing. So I handed them over. Then I was transferred to Delta Company. Now remember, at infantry school, I was also at Delta Company. 1987, I was in Delta Company. 1988, coming from SU Company from Louis Legrand, I go now to Delta Company to come and work with Lieutenant Louis Hoffman. So he's my new company commander. And we arranged now, we start sorting out, there were a lot of vehicles. You know, it was now the F echelon, which means the fighting vehicles, the A echelon. Now the A echelon are those vehicles which will be utilized for logistical purposes to resupply the fighting forces in the front. And then the B echelon, normally those will be somewhere around the unit lines. And all those vehicles were prepared, but they left on road from South Africa, from Tuan, south of Lens, to Namibia, with the regimental sergeant major Ilof and the drivers. And they left with all this infrastructure to the Dwavas and all that. So towards about the 28th of January, we also now left for Namibia. So we left in the early hours of the morning to Jan Smuts Airport, which is the current OR Tambo. From there, we took our flight off to Namibia. We landed in Grootfontein. And Grootfontein, we went by route to Oshivelu. Now, Oshivelu, it was the second time I'm there because I did my counterinsurgency in 1987. Whilst I was at infantry school, I did it also down there at Oshivelu or Matia. It was also just next to 6-1 there. So we had our headquarters down there. We sorted out our sleeping place and we settled and we had to acclimatize. So the program was also in place where Sergeant Major Dina, which is currently Lieutenant Colonel retired, he became an officer at the end of the day. He was our company Sergeant Major. So he was responsible for the vehicle movement. And the company commander, Louis Hoffman, was responsible for the platoon attacks. And Mvubu and who was this? Peter Musinuk, Sergeant Peter Musinuk. They were responsible for the patrols. And then also the ambushes. Yes, we started with the training on a rotational basis and all that. And I remember one day, one of the troops, we did a patrol for the day. And when normally we come back, we will sleep outside and come back in the early hours of the morning. And the troops will have time to clean their weapons and all that other thing, do church parade and all those other things. But one of the troops at Mahatle, his rifle was dirty. So he was not ready. But I gave him also a sandbag right there in the bush. But I think the troop ended up, he passed out and ended up at the sick bay. Yes, I went to check him in the afternoon. He was still there. Then the medic said, no, I think tomorrow he will be discharged. But the matter was also now reported to the company commander to say one of the troops passed out. Now the next morning, during the parade, we did a roll call, we prayed. Then later the company commander, he's just giving us some update. And he says, trooper, julle moet nie rondtos nie. Don't mess around with Corporal Sereko. We see now, one of the troops passed away because Corporal Sereko fucked him up. So now we are listening, but later then we are finished, we are going for the other group. Now while we are sitting there on the other group, the major is busy giving orders, the task, lay out the program for the day and all that. Now as he comes around, everybody now to ask questions. There was one corporal, was an HR guy, Shingo. He says, Lieutenant. He says, yeah, Shingo, what say you? What do you say? He says, no, this morning you said Mahatle passed away. And Mahatle is still alive. He passed on. I know you want to say he passed on. Hy het gefaint. Hy het nie gesterwe nie. And the lieutenant said, oh, sorry, get that company again, form them up. You know the Queen's language. We form up the company again. And he says, trooper, just want to make a point of correction. This morning I said Corporal Sereko punished one troop. He passed away. Sorry, I wanted to say he passed, yeah, he passed on, not passed away. Hy het uitgepas. And then the troops started laughing. But we left, we carried on with the training. But now what was very important during the training, we had the old instructors which were trained in Tuan, which now were mixed with the instructors coming there just now from JLs now, so that we can now help each other, you know. And I remember now in my platoon, I had where it was Lieutenant Basson, which was my platoon commander, and then we had Lieutenant Jacobs, and then Lieutenant Kiev, and then Lieutenant Skeepers. Now Kiev, his platoon sergeant was Corporal Motorized, which came from infantry school with me, and then Jacobs was Khoto, who also came from infantry school with me, and then Skeepers, his platoon sergeant was Mchali. He was an old instructor in 2-1, and he was also one of our instructors when we arrived there in 1986. And then Basson was with me, but Basson was a June intake. He left me at infantry school in June when they carried out having their passing out parade. We carried on, but when I went back to 2-1 in 1988, I met him there, so he was now my platoon commander. Yes, we carried on with the training, doing rotational training. It went well. But one thing again, with Lieutenant Hoffman, he was just also a perfectionist, like Major Houston Brown, you know. And always he will stand in front of his company and he will say, trooper, wie is die beste company voor velvoerder? Then the trooper say, die Lieutenant Hoffman. I say, yeah, Lieutenant Hoffman, hoor julle my? Yes, Hoffman is the best. Delta company is the best company. And you know, it was a slogan of the company. you know, when it's my turn, I will be with him, my platoon, and we do the attacks and all that. But we used to have competition between him, even he was my commander. And sometimes I will say, firstly, we'll do the immediate action drill. Now, the immediate action drill is when scenario A, when own force see the enemy first. What do? Already a rifleman 1 and 2 will deliver fire with a rifle grenade and surprise the enemy to make sure that it's either now the commander will go through his OODA loop, try to employ his forces in a left or a right flank attack. You know? But when the movement is very slow, then he will stop the platoon. Then he will say, trooper, do not do attacks like Musadi, which means like a woman. They must not be slow. You know? They say, Sereko, you see, they are like Musadi. Huh? These troops of you must move. You know? Then I will say, no, don't worry. I will get them up to speed. We can just do this. You can excuse us. You can do other things at your office. I will take over. I will take my lieutenant, pass on, and then from there we'll do our own attacks and all that other thing. And the good thing, when the lieutenant is not sure, he will ask me. Because remember, I'm still fresh and all that other thing. But we executed very good attacks. And when we are ready, we'll call Louis Hoffman. He will come and carry on with us. We do an attack. He say, yeah, dat lyk mooi, dat lyk prachtig. That's verbeter. It looks good. There's improvement. I said, no, but I think to improve, I can give you another one. And I will give him another attack. And he will be happy. He said, no, Sereko, you people carry on. Because I can see this platoon is really oiled. It's an oiled machine. So we didn't have to have supervision. So it also gave him time to run his other company administration, attend other meetings and all that. Now we had also Musinugi. Now Musinugi was a staff sergeant also. And yet Sergeant Mvubu also working with him. We are doing patrol. And we will move from the assembly area, patrolling, coming to a short halt, doing all the drills of just, whilst with your big pack, you just go down, establish comms, drink water from your bag. You don't have to unpack everything. And test comms with your higher headquarters. And then from there, again, is the signal, we go. Then we'll go into a long halt. Normally, a long halt will just be before siesta. Then we will move out. The orderly. I had an orderly, my platoon orderly was Mnyandeni. He was my orderly. And as we moved in for a short halt in the TV, he will now make sure he counts everybody's in. And all round defense, we establish communication. We make sure that the guard system is implemented and the troops are looking through on their weapon, through their sights, and we send the set trap. You know, from there you will give command, start the tape, then we switch off the radio. We just put it on squelch. And then later, you know, we'll do these things practical, and it's hot. Then he will say, troop, get your sleeping bag. Go into a sleeping bag, sleep. And you take it, and it's hot, and the troop say, no stuff, but it's hot. He say, hey, we are doing our practical. You must do these things. I must see that you understand. You know? Until like we simulate, like again, it's in the morning, where again the guard systems, the platoon sergeant will go out with a section, go out at a 12 o'clock, at a 6 o'clock position, through a 360 around the TV, just to make sure that we are safe. There's no enemy movement around our TV before we break out of the TV. From there, then we will break out, move about 2 to 3 kilos, then set up another temporary base. Is now where you shave, you make coffee, orders, and you give orders for the day, what's going to happen. So yes, we went, we finished off for the day. Then we go, the next day we rotate, after 2 days we rotate, we go and do vehicle movement. Now vehicle movement also will have 4 buffers with us, which one is the command vehicle, the other one is for the platoon sergeant or these troops, also with the section leaders in there. And you'll have the stretchers and the prodding sticks on the side, you know, the fire extinguishers. You know, you have to make sure the platoon sergeant, you do the inspection, the people, what their kit, their ration pack, everything, ammunition, first line ammunition. And we will bomb up, we will move, doing escorts, doing patrols, and then they will simulate a contact. For example, you go through, then the second buffer will hit a landmine. Where now the platoon commander will have to see all station. This is 7-4 because that was our call sign. Stop. And the vehicle will stop. And it will give the command, first leg down. So there will be first certain unequal numbers from all vehicles which will go down and make an all-round defense. And then second leg down, then we'll have an all-round defense around the vehicles. Now, the second vehicles, when they have hit the mine, so we're gonna do the mine drill, where riflemen number 1 and 2 will go over at the grill of the vehicles where they go off, and they will start prodding, making a safety lane to the first buffer. And then from there, they will take also a toilet road and move out 60 meters, and then from there mark. It means making a safety lane. Then we know within the way it's marked is a safety lane and a safety passage, where now we will simulate that certain troops got injured, we will bandage them and move them out. But these things are happening very quickly, you know. And you are sending the SITRAP also situation report. What is damage? How many people are killed? How many are injured? What is the situation? And you are also asking for air evacuation. And then we call up the helicopter, which will come down there, and you do evacuation. So it was very interesting, very lively, very practical. And all the equipment was available. You didn't have an excuse not to do the training. There was no time to lie around. So we finished with the training. Now after the training, so we have now to prepare to deploy. Now I think there was now a squabble within the battalion to say which company is going to go in Angola and which are others going to stay behind. So people now, Lieutenant Hoffman said, listen, but Delta company is the best. And we have won most of the things. We have seen our attacks and all the evaluations also. Then later, yeah, they agreed that Delta must go across the border. So the company commanders there, it was Hoffman, which was in Delta company. We had Bravo company, it was Voch. And then we also have Griffiths. And then we had another Major Kotre. He was from the Rekis, I think Kotre. But I want to stand a little bit also tell you about the stories of Kotre and Voch. Now, Vog was once the adjutant. Before we deployed, he was the adjutant to Commandant Smith. Now, I remember one day when I was still a troop, after we did now basic, we could be allowed sometimes just to go out and run. So now I wanted to escape after 4. It was now after 4. I wanted to go to the Linasia. Normally I'll go and buy things down there and maybe hang out at Milky Lane. So I will put my sports clothes and I'll go through the gate and make as if I'm running, but I'm not running. I'm going to the station, and across the station, then you are in Lenasia. But as I was, there's a road between the fence of the unit and the railway line. So if I'm running, I'm out of the gate, I'm running towards the station. Anybody coming from the battalion headquarters out towards the gate can see you. But I think Major Potsen saw me. He was driving a BMW, this box one, this small one, I think 325. So he come through the gate. Instead of turning left at the right at the gate, left at the gate, he went right. But as I was running, I saw, but there's a car coming. And he came close to me, and then he stops me, and I look at him. He says, "Kom hier so, jy nie 'n troep nie." He said, "Come here, you're not a rifleman." I said, "No, Major, nee." He said, "Waar werk jy?" I said, "Nee, ek werk hier so in die eenheid. I'm working in the unit, but I'm a general assistant. Ek is 'n algemene assistent." And he looks at me, he said, "Jy seker? Jy nie 'n troep nie, jy nie 'n skutter nie." I said, "No, I'm not a rifleman." But the wife looks at me and says, "Maar Gert, ek dink ek ken front. Dis die man wat vir ons gehelp het toe ons getrek het in ons huis in, daar by Suurbekom. Jel." En dan hy sê, "Ja, dis jy." Hy sê, "Klim in." I'm in a BMW. He takes me back. Now we come at the duty room. He hands me over to the MPs. You see? He said, "No, you must lock him up, and then tomorrow morning, he must appear on orders." Yeah, no, now we are in the DV, but it's full because we have most of us which were arrested are outside. The MPs also went out, they went to sweep there, they get some of us, some of the other members. But later now, Vog was on duty, he's the adjutant. So Vog came now to visit at the DV there, the duty room. Now I'm standing there. He says, "Ja, troepen, hulle is weer gearresteer, hè? Yes, troops, you are being arrested again. Hulle het nie ore nie." Yeah. I look at him. Now, one of the MPs I know, Makunga, he does not understand Afrikaans, so I took advantage of that. Now I spoke to the adjutant, I say, "Captain," I said, "Wat is jou probleem, Boesie?" Ek sê, "Nee, ek het gaan hardloop. Toe ek terugkom, toe vang hulle my, toe sit hulle my hier in." I said, "No, I went to run, and on my way back, the MPs arrested me, said, Makunga arrested, put me there." And I asked Makunga in Afrikaans, "Is it so, somebody hoor?" Then Makunga said, yeah, yes, like that. So Vog said, "No, Bushi, you can go." So it means I was not an AWOL because I came back from running. So I don't tell him that Major Kotze got hold of me outside. He brought me back to the DV. Now everybody say, "Hey, how come now you are going out?" I say, "Bye-bye." I went. So that's now how Vog and Kotze, which were deployed, I just wanted to highlight that story. So yes, we ended up, now we are driving from Oshivelu on our way to 54 Battalion in Inanna. And Inanna is just next to the Caprivi Strip. So it took us 2 days. You know, the movement is very slow because now we are being led by the engineers because they've got now these mine clickers of them with the things in there now moving in front of us to enhance our mobility, to make sure that we don't go over land mines and all that. You know? But whilst now, remember, I also want to tell you, from infantry school, remember now I'm qualified a platoon sergeant, and what General Shoes and Samija Skirman and Chaplain Rousseau and the Commandant told me about my shooting results. Now I've done also well. I've got a proficiency badge also, you know. So they kept their promise that you will be a good person. And also we met in the operational area. Another Sergeant Major was Smythe. He used to be an instructor also at infantry school. So he understands foreign weapons, you know. So he was the one also giving us orientation. Yes, we reached 5-4 Battalion. So it was around about now, towards end of February. But take note also during that time, there was a damage taking place also. There was also an operation taking place. I think it was what, the Battle of Tumpu. So that was also something which was taking place also. The Battle of Tumpu, and remember also the GOC of Sector 10 was Chris Serfontein. So I think that attack on Tumpu took place, if I'm not misled, the 29th of February 1988. You know, the other day I was phoned by Major General Les Rapman, the retired, and he said he was listening to my legacy conversation and telling me the same time when I was there, he was also there. I remember the 81mm mortars was under his command, where he also took part in this operation. And especially also there at Kute Carnival. So whilst we were now at 5-4 Battalion, we tried to settle and all those other things. We were given place. We used to have an RSM there at 5-4 Battalion. It was, I think, Samija de Klerk. And the officer commanding was Koos Heeman. So his call sign was Kilo Hotel. He was also very well built, you know. Now, Samija de Klerk, always when we form up in the morning after the stand 2. So in the morning we wake up and have stand 2. Stand 2, it means now we look through our aiming device, looking for any possible movement of an enemy advancing from outside to the base. It will be maybe for about 5 minutes and all that, then we'll stand down and then we'll to form up. And normally we'll say, as we are formed up, then he will say, al die kokke kakken klerke, 3 aan een kant. It means all the chefs, the clerks, and all those other things form up one side. The infanteers will form up on their own, you know. And then they have their roll call. They will carry on. Those who are going to cook are going to cook. Those who are going to do their admin, those going to the stores are going to the stores. And now we will sort out the guard duty. And we're helping to also to improve the bunkers within the base. But few days whilst we were there, we were greeted by enemy fire, indirect fire in the base. And luckily there was no casualties. But that day I decided from that day I don't sleep anymore in the base. The best thing, there has to be a place outside. They used to carry the caravan park. So sometimes the troops who are going into Angola, they will come down, assemble there, just to refresh up. And then from there, carry on with the advance. And outside there, I befriended, I had a friend, he was from the Air Force, it was a Captain XT, and he was a pilot. So he used to have also his canteen there. So normally I will buy my cool drinks, whatever I need, we'll stay there and talk and all that. And if I'm not there, sometimes in the base, and in the base, we used to have some drinks and also have a very healthy discussion with the officer commanding was human, you know, talking about the operation area and what is happening and all that. But one day whilst we are standing, he was standing on a corner. So I'm looking at the direction of the door, but with his back, his back is facing the entrance of the bar. And also, Lieutenant Khoza is also there. But all of a sudden, there are people rushing, storming into the bar. And I turned around, I got shocked. Because remember now, the windows is normally in mesh. So that to prevent the mosquitoes coming in. And I see now these people storming with a beret, a camouflage beret and uniform. And I thought, oh, maybe it's FAPLA or whatever. Yeah, when I check on, he says, no, don't worry, it's 3-2 Battalion. The troops rushed to the bar. I'm telling you, it took about 10 minutes. That bar had nothing. Everything was bought. And they went out. They went to the caravan park. They had their bride down there. I think they stayed there for about 2 days. Just trying now to regroup and all that. And while now they are there, I decided, let me visit also there, because also my friend, the pilot, is also there, Captain XTN. On my arrival, I met some of the leader group. We had a discussion. I asked them, who are they? They said, no, they are 3-2 Battalion. And they are staying down there in Katima Mulino. It's where they stay, telling me their history, that most of them are from the group of FNLA, Holden Roberto. Now you remember the geopolitics of Angola, where there was now the 3 groupings after the Portuguese abandoned their colony, which was now MPLA, it was UNITA, it was FNLA. And then FNLA were those groups which went, the SADF, which were trained by the late Colonel Jan Breitenbach. And I said, listen, I'm also interested, man, to come and work in this troop. Said, no, you must just apply, then you will get. But whilst we are there, I want to go back again, whilst I was at school, doing my matric. We used to have magazines like Drum, Reiter and Swart and all that. And in one of the magazines, I saw they advertised something like the Foreign French Legion. And there was a number. So my house was about, say, 3 kilos to the post office. We didn't have a telephone at home. So I would walk down on foot, go to the post office, and then I called the number. And somebody spoke a very broken English, but he was a French guy. Man. And after that, I told him, listen, I want to join the Foreign French Legion. I got a number where I said, no problem if you want to come. But you have to pay for your air ticket and you come to Obanye. It's at their center where they recruit and train. And by that time, I think the air ticket was about 1,000 rand. Okay, the money I had, remember, I was a KD, I was making a lot of money. And yeah, so it wasn't an issue. But as time goes on, I thought, let me finish my school and all that. But now I'm military too now. In the operational area, they are telling me where they come from and all that other thing. And there are people maybe who have joined other foreign armed forces. So they departed on their advance to Angola. We stayed behind. And later I told Colonel Koziman that, man, I would love to come and work in the operational area, and there they needed manpower. They said, no, no problem. You can come and work here even for 10 years. Are you married? I said, no, I'm not married. He said, no, 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 it's fine. And I spoke also with Major Diaga, the RSM. I gave my name in so that I know when we finish, I'm going to come back to the operational area again. After a few days, we had to prepare because now we're going to also move out with buffaloes. So the company, we move out, crossing the Caprivi Strip, right into Angola. And we went, and we reached at one place, so we had to take in a TV as a company. And for that evening, we have taken all-round defense. We are in the temporary base. The guard system is in place. We have tested the comms. And later, I'm just sleeping about on the 12 o'clock position. So my troops start from the 12 o'clock position, my platoon, right until about 4 o'clock position. And I remember from 11 down, I think it was a platoon of Corporal Khoto, which I think Lieutenant Kiev. But whilst I was asleep, I had a fire, R4, an LMG. Now I wake up and I thought we have been attacked. But we know there is no way you will fire when you make a contact. If you make a contact with the enemy for 5 minutes, then you know it can't be, it might be an own force. But only to find out what happened. There was one troop just had to say, no, it's me. One of the troops left the TV by mistake. He wanted to go and help himself out, so he went out. But as he came back, he came on the wrong direction. Now, one of the troops from the 11 o'clock position, which I was lying behind, he tried now to challenge him. You know, there are certain drills when you see somebody approaching you, you will say, halt, hands up, identify yourself, what is the code? So we have the code. He must be able to give the code. So he gave the code, I think, but he also got shocked, and then he decided to turn back, to turn around, try to run away, because he also thought he is now being apprehended by the enemy. So the troop opened fire and he was shot. So I had to go down and say, ceasefire, ceasefire, stop fire. We grabbed the troop and we tried to apply body aid and call the helicopter, which arrived in the early hours of the morning. But now he was declared dead. And now when the helicopter comes, remember, the helicopter normally doesn't want to land. It just hover on top. Now I'm saying to the troops, help me. Nobody wants to help me, but I don't know where I got that energy and that power to grab this troop on my own and give him to the flight attendants. And they put there, we've put him already in a body bag and we have taken him and the weapon. And the helicopter goes. Yeah. But I'm telling you, for about a week, I was not myself, I was sick. You know, now every day, as we move, we are in the TV during the day. You know, it seems like I'm crying. There was a troop, Pitam Tokor. He was from Polokwane. And he says, hey, little corporal, you must not cry. You know, You're supposed to be at the university. You see how small are you? You are commanding, some of us are older than you. You know? So because he could see, you know, the pain is still eating me of the troops we lost. And now sometimes they try to calm me down and all that other thing, and they will make jokes. They say, no, you see, the battle is not for the faint-hearted. You know, these are for guys, you know. Look how old, I think I was about 23 by that time. I was still very young. So we moved on, we advanced until we reached the helicopter administrative area. The HEC, in Afrikaans, they normally say helicopter administratieve gebied. We came there, we joined, we were allocated our area of responsibility. And when we came down there, I met Ledwaba, General Ledwaba. He was now working at the HEC, at a helicopter administrative area, or at the Tech HQ. So I told him, man, is there no post for me and all that? Later he said, no, man, I've got some post. I said, a newspaper. So he brought my a letter, which was from home, and the newspaper. And in my pocket, I had some biscuits and all those other things. And I met also the Bakwan also. So those were the guys who were in the HQ company, which left early in January. Now I asked him, man, where did you people go to when you left us there in South Africa? They said, no, we reached Grootfontein. From there, we moved to Rundu and all those places until we ended up now here at the helicopter administrative area. So some of them are storemen, others are clerks, others are radio operators, are working in the ops room and all that. I say, you know, I'm hungry. He said, no, man, don't worry. I've got some meal. I'll cook meal. And we took out our bully beef and all that. We made a nice meal and we enjoy. We were talking and all those other things. The next day, we are still there. But run about the next day, it was just about after 1. While we were sitting, we had an attack again. We had an indirect fire. And it was a guy from the People's Liberation Army Plan from SWAPO. So they attacked us. And the Bakwan was one of the guys who was on the observation post. But instead of looking outside, you could have seen the man. He was looking inside the base. And yeah, later we had to take a section and try to follow the tracks. And we are carrying on the tracks and all that, but later I could realize, no, the tracks are becoming hot, which means they are becoming visible, and you could see it's not 1 or 2, it's about 3 or 4 people which they have splitted. So we had to stop the 2 sections with Lieutenant Basson. I did the 360, and I tried to interpret the tracks which I could pick up. And I tell him, listen, the type of boots the people are wearing, and you can see they are having heavy equipment with them, because you can see with them heels. You know, when a man is carrying heavy equipment, you will see as you walk, the heels are going down in the sand. And I could count 4 or 5 people, but these people have splitted. They went to different directions. Then I told him, listen, I think the best way, let's report back to the issue, say, no, I think the people we are chasing, they are more than what they do, and we may end up in an ambush. So we had to retreat. We fall back to the helicopter administrative area and the Tech HQ. And whilst we were there, so we're given orders that we have to prepare, because the next day we're going to be moving out. Now, going to our respective areas of operation. So we went out as a company, until later we decided now to split, every platoon going to its own area of responsibility. We carry on with our patrols. You know, every day we cover about 15 Ks and we will sleep somewhere. We never slept at the same place. But I think after 6 days or 7 days, there was one troop. Again, now this troop, yeah, Mahake, he decides, no, in the morning, when we are departing from the tea we have eaten, he don't want to go. He say he's tired. I said, troop, you are going, and I grabbed him, and we go. But along the way now, he really doesn't want. He does not want to go. And we stopped the platoon, left and say, what? I said, no, let's leave him, let's go. And we moved. We left him behind. But along the way, that mind comes back again of Major Houston Brown and say, listen, you never leave your camaraderie behind. So we stopped the platoon. I said to the lieutenant, I will go and look. I took a section to go and look for this troop. I think somewhere the troop started getting scared. It's during the day. He started firing. I could hear the shots. So I went to look for him. And we could see him now. He wants to fire at us. I don't know, is he boss before or what? Later, one of the other platoon also we met. They said, no, we can hear where the fire is. So the troop was advancing. Then we went with Sergeant Motate, to go and look for this troop, and we got hold of him. Now the troop wants to fire us. And Motate took a position behind the LMG, wanted to fire. I had to jump away, and I said, no, stop. Don't do that. I will try to talk to this troop. So I managed to talk with the troop to relax, and I took his weapon, make it safe. We took it back into the platoon at the TV. And, you know, we tried to speak to him and all that. You know, I say, you cannot right now to give up here. We still have a long way and all that. But remember, our deployment was just supposed to be for a month. But later, I remember the Chief of the Defence Force, General Gelden Hayes, came to visit and also said, listen, we're going to stay a little bit longer because one of the battalion which was supposed to take over from us, I think they were not ready. So they were assigned to another area. So we had to now to stay longer. And I had one troop by the same name, I think Liu. He was a very good shooter in the RPG-7. Now, normally sometimes we'll have visitors, the media group from South Africa, the Chief of the Defence Force and all that. And normally we have to give a demonstration. So I will have line up the mortars and the RPG-7 and the LMG. And they will give a demonstration to the media people, the journalists and all those, the VIP and the VVVIP. Very important, very important people. So now this troop, he likes drinking. So because he didn't have beer that day. So the general have lined up, they are sitting, I said, you're gonna shoot now the RPG-7 and you must be on target. So the target, there are dummy targets in front, which we have placed up. And I give command, details, attention. Take position, and we go over the drills and they fire. Man, he just missed the target, just close. And I said, Liu, how can you shoot the target and you see the Chief of the Defence Forces here? He says, no, man, you see, I didn't drink, I didn't get my beer. If I can just have one. No, he said, if I can get my 6-pack, you see I'll be on target. I said, no, loan. Shit, you can't do that, there's no beer. He said, no, not one, only one. So we organize him quick. One castle, a 10. And he opens up, he has it, and he drinks it. And we give command again, he's, but it's on target. And General Helen Hayes, the chief of the defense force, was very impressed. And he said, he come and pet him, say, yeah, who taught you to shoot like that? He says, no, my platoon sergeant. He says, Sereko. He said, oh, where did you do training? I said, no, I did my training at infantry. Who said, Johnson, I must tell you, yeah, your guys are up to the task and all that. So Lee will always say, if you want me to shoot, I must not miss. Make sure first I get first my beer. Then I will never disappoint you. So we carried on moving, patrolling and all that. But one day we took a TV. Well, we took a temporary base. But that day we did not dig a shallow trench, because always we dig a shallow trench in the evening with your infantry shovel to make sure that you got some self-protection, so that if you have been shot with a indirect fire, at least you got that protection. But one night I was just tired. I said to myself, I'm not going to dig in. And I slept. And one of the lieutenants, I think it was Jacobs or whatever, he took off his clothes. And he was just sleeping with his underwear. And yeah, somebody fired us in the base. And we returned fire. And it was quiet. And he stood up, and one of the troops said, no, Lieutenant, try to clear on, put on your clothes, because now, he's light in complexion. You can see even the dark because of the moon. It's out. Hey, we did an all-round defense in the morning. Again, 360 check. Is there any enemy tracks and all that? We pick up the enemy tracks and all that. But we say, no, we're not going to chase. We break out of the TV. From there, we shave, make coffee, we eat, and we left until we take a short halt. From the short halt, we move another 5-10 k's until we come to the long halt, where we stay there for the day. And we carried on sleeping from one place to the other. But later, we didn't have enough water. And we moved somewhere. And that place, it was an old base of the Portuguese, the former colonial masters in Angola. But there was fresh water, we could get fresh water there. And we decided, no, man, we're just going to make an all-round defense there. And we don't have to move to look for water. And we drink water, we enjoy the water from there. But later we just realized, listen, we are becoming comfortable and it's becoming risky, we'll have to move. Now we want to move the troops, no, but where are we going to get water? Because remember, you had 8 liters of bottle. Those are 2 liters for 2 top, 2 at the bottom. And if you look for water, you have to go to an open pit, get water, which is very dirty and all that. But we had tablets, which were given, and you clean inside to purify the water, so that to drink. No, we moved away, get another TV, we stayed again there. But now we are running out of logistics, the food, because normally you have 14 days food. And then on the 10th day, you will give your setup, your log returns and all those other things, and your RV, where the log run will meet you. But unfortunately, 14 days passed, we didn't have food. But I didn't eat a lot. I was still left with food for about 5 days. And the troops, they don't have anything. Now remember also, the Cubans are present, the Russians are present, they are the MiGs and the Sukhoi helicopters. Now also you have to understand that now the Cubans and MPLA have gained now air superiority. So we don't have any more that freedom of airspace because of the involvement of the Cubans and the Russians. The days are going and all that other thing. Now we don't have food. And we say to the troops, listen, can we put money together? We go look for a goat. We donated. And now me and the interpreter. The interpreter was Philemon Eliphas. Eliphas Philemon. I say, Eliphas, where can we go and get goat? He says, no. He's over the plaaslike bevolking, the local population. I say, okay, can we go? Do you think it's far? I say, I'm not sure. I say, no. You, one of the corporal, you go, just don't go more than a kilo. You see what, can you hear any noise or whatever? They moved for a kilo, and then they relayed the message back, say, no, there is a place where there's a kraal nearby. I said, okay. So I link up with the other section. So we got now one section, we moved, we went to the local population, we paid for 2 goats. We put our web belts around the neck and we drag it to the TV. From there, we slaughter it. No, we let it sleep over the night. In the morning, next day now, we want to slaughter. While we are busy slaughtering the other one, the troop forgot now this one, the other one just ran away and disappeared with the rifle belt. And they tried to chase it. They don't get it, they come back. Now that interpreter is laughing, say, yeah, right. You South Africans, is it your culture? When you have bought 2 goats, you leave one to run away. And now it's gone also with the web belt. Hy sê, man, hy is weg met die web belt. Ek dink hy daar aangesluit nou by SWAPO. It means he's gone with the web belt and they have joined already there in SWAPO. You won't get it anymore. And now we laugh and all that. Yeah, we slaughter the one, we make a braai, we eat. At least we can survive for 2 days. And we decided to move, sleep at another place. Now I remember it was a Saturday. The Friday we slept one place. On a Saturday we slept one place. Now the Sunday morning, we are still waiting for the food, but there's nothing coming. But my platoon commander, he's awake. He's reading something, but lying next to the trunk of a tree like this. But we are in an all-round defense. So I'm at the radio and all that. But it's about 10 o'clock in the morning. We can hear some movement, you know. Some vehicle, you know, you can see they are moving in caterpillar method. You know, 2 goes forward, the other one they are in a defensive position. Then others will, when there are those in position in front, the one at the back will move just like that in a leapfrog. You can hear there's a leapfrog movement. But I said to the lieutenant, you know what? There's this noise coming. And I think it's Kufut or whatever, it can be Kufut or 101. And he said, no, man, relax. I said, no, I can't relax. But it carries on. But I could hear the cars now are coming, the Caspers are coming close now. I said, listen, throw smoke. Because I have my smoke ready, he's got also, but I must ask him for permission to throw the green smoke. So these cars, if it's own force, because you know, we are in the dense bush, they can see its own force, they mustn't just fire. Me and the lieutenant, we are still exchanging words to say no fire. He said, no, don't set off the smoke. Oh, I leave him. But by the time I say, the Caspers are in front of us. And that's a white guy with glasses, you know. And I look at him, he says, Jong, wat doen julle hier so? Wie is julle? I said, no, man. Troops from 2-1 and platoon 4, Delta Company. And he looks at the lieutenant and says, hey, boerseun, jy moet smoke gooi, jong. Ek gaan vir jou oplyn. He says, son of a boer, you must smoke, throw smoke when you hear vehicles coming. Otherwise, we'll kill you. And I look at Lieutenant Basson, I say, but Lieutenant, I told you. He says, yo, sorry, man. No, the guys speak to us. From there, they continued with their movement on a different direction. Now we are staying there. Later, likely the helicopter came. We gave them an RV. I throw smoke. They came and dropped us batteries, and then also ration packs and other items we needed. So as a helicopter is coming, I directed, I said to the troops, they must now turn up their bush head. Now the day glow must be outside, the yellow one, so they can see. So I speak to the pilot. I say, where are you coming from? He's 7-4. He tells me, no, he's from the heck. Now the heck, it means in Afrikaans, helicopter administratieve gebied, from the Ha. I said, from the Ha? He said, yes. He said, no, I said, no, it's us. Are you coming to drop our food? Yes. I give him the RV. He comes close and then drop us the equipment, and there off he goes. I sent one of the section to go and get everything, come closer. We open up, check what is there, ration, batteries, whatever we needed, what we requested through our log setup. At this now, we have food again. Now, we took food for about 21 days so that we must not struggle. Now we carried on patrollings and all that other thing. But whilst on the patrol, sometimes I used to have a code. I could break into the B-52 radio. I was able to listen the news, what is happening in South Africa or whatever, you know. But I think we were caught out. How? I don't know. Somebody caught us out. Now we break in down there. So we're told we have to go on orders to Oshikati, to General Serfontein. So, and I said to myself, no, we can't go there. Time goes on and on. But later, Lieutenant Basson had to go, but he went to the helicopter administrative area for his orders and all that. But everything was settled, and they told us, listen, don't ever break against the security of the radio, you know, because we had all the codes. And remember, we had all the old signalers which were there also will give you the code to say, okay, if you want to listen to that station, the radio, where you go and all that other thing. Yeah. We carry on, and on run about the 18th day, we send the log setup again, because now we are running low on batteries, food, and all the other things we needed, and medical equipment and all that. But we got the thing saying, in 2 days' time, there will be a log run. So the B echelon, I mean the A echelon will come and resupply you. So we waited the whole day thinking, the guys will be here at about 11 or 12, but nothing. The guys came only about just before last light. Now it's a lot of confusion, you know. They are loading off at night. It's a little bit noise. We also have now to give them accommodation around the TV, also to protect them, you know. But now the log guy was a colored guy by the surname Prince, Randy Prince. And he passed on, just I think after or before COVID or whatever, or during COVID. He passed on as a colonel. And he was working at DHQ. And we were together at the academy. And at the academy, he was my father. At the academy, according to the family tree. But by that time, I didn't know him. So he slept with us, we got food. Now in the morning, we wake up early, do the security patrol and all that. But they are in a hurry, they want to go. They just moved, man. We talk about 500 meters maybe. They hit a landmine with a Kwe full, the Kwe 100. But I think it just shake the vehicle with a flat wheel. And later we just had to assist them and all that. And the rifleman, the back one, was also there. Now we want to check if anybody got injured and all. Luckily, nobody got injured because they strapped and all that. I think that was the bonus. Off they go. From there, we also took our direction. And we went towards now place like Jofima. And whilst now we are there patrolling, we realized that we don't have water. We are running short out of water. Then I said to the lieutenant, I said, listen, let me leave you here. I will take one section. And we go somewhere we will get water. And we take a bivvy, one extra bivvy, and we take the bottles of the other troops. Everyone give us 2 bottles, and we put there, we tie. There we go on the patrol, looking for water. But as we are searching for water, I could hear a movement of vehicles. And the movement of vehicles, it was buffaloes. You could see, I think it's about a platoon. So they are moving, but we decided to take a low profile because we are not sure is it own force or what. But later I could see, no, it's own force. It was 101 battalion, the troops from 101. You know, you see them with their short pants, and all that. Now I see they have stopped their inner all-round defense. Now I say to my corporal, Malebu, let's go close to that vehicle. And we went close to the vehicle. But as we are approaching, one of the vehicles was a platoon sergeant. It's a sergeant from 101. I come closer and I was the interpreter. I said to the interpreter, listen, tell him that you are asking for water. I tell Eliphas, vra for water, because they were talking. Eliphas said, man, klaar gevra. I said, Eliphas, how can you say klaar gevra? You finished already asking for water. I never heard it. He said, when I was talking, because he talks Wambo, I don't understand Wambo. He said, the time I was talking to him, I greeted him and I was asking for water. But he says, he can't give you water. You must go and ask the lieutenant. I said, but where's the lieutenant? He said, no, there. But the lieutenant was busy on his buffalo. I don't know, he was busy doing maintenance because the grill was open in front and all that. So I go closer and I say, hello, Lieutenant, but he doesn't hear me. And I go closer and, I pat him on his lower arm, at the cuff. I said, and he looks. He said, who can you help? I said, no, how can I help you? I said, no, we are really thirsty. We don't have water. We are asking for water. And the guy looks at me, he's standing right on top with one leg up and the one down just on the griller where the engine is. He looks at me. He said, come for you water here. Why must I give you water? I said, no, I'm asking, we don't have water. And I'm here with a section, the rest of the platoon is behind. I need water for myself and all that. He says, my fuck, man, I can't give you water here. And I look at the guy and I say to the troops, fuck, let's go. As I turn around, the guy says, hey, Sereko, but I don't have my name tag. Now I'm wondering, this guy calls me Sereko. I'm trying to look, because, there we don't put name tag, we don't put ranks, nothing. We just put your hair. And I look at the guy. I say, man, VJ. He says, man, Delta Whiskey. He says, the Val, man. Now the Val was a guy at infantry school. Remember when I visited my friends and then they told me, listen, put our rank, because we have get our ranks, we're going to be passing out, but put your rank so that you see one day when you're an officer, how will you look like? Now it was a guy who was in the bungalow who came from town and he was drunk. He passed out in the bungalow and I wake him up. When he wake up, he looks at me and I gave him the trauma to run around. He says, fuck. Ek sê, here, the wet man, fuck, jammer man. He say, ja, no, je was me opgefokt by infantry school. You remember when you fucked me around in the bunker at infantry school? I say, here, friend man, please man. I'm sorry for that man. But now here, we are not fighting because we got a different enemy. What I only ask from you is water, man. You know, for my troops, we are about 36 in the platoon. He says, no, it's fine. And we go down to the burn and we open up, filling up the bottles and all that. Now asking you, how did you end up? He said, no, after the passing out parade, I ended up here at 101. I said, okay. And when you finish with the national service, what happened? He said, no, I'm not going to go. I'm going to sign for a short-term coordinates, you know, maybe another contract for 5 years and all that. I say, hey, I also want to come here. When I finish your deployment, he said, no, just apply, you will get, we need manpower and all that. I say, yeah, I spoke already at 2 Battalion. I also said, no, I must apply. And with was Heman also 5-4 Battalion, and then you, no problem. I said, man, I'm very sorry for that infantry school, but hey, he said, no, I know, man, show me. We are friends, man. You know, it was just those days as junior leaders, you know, we can do all the tricks. I said, no, as long as you understand, no problem. But never forget me, always give me your call sign so that I know if I'm looking for you even for reinforcement or whatever, you can come and give me support. He says, no problem. I got these details. I greeted him and I left. Link up at my platoon, I said to Bason, I tell him, hey, I met this guy. He's one of your June intake and all that. Likely Bason knows also the guy. So yeah, there it goes. And later now, the June intake have to go. Whilst now, they are going back, we are getting another new release of platoon commanders. But unfortunately, I didn't get a platoon commander, so I have to be in charge now for the platoon for the duration of the operation. Yo, Bason goes, I'm taking over, and we carry on with patrols and all that. But I don't know what happened. I ended up towards the east, southeast of Mupa or whatever. And whilst now I was there patrolling, I heard also another movement of vehicles and all that other thing. And I checked, these are Caspers. Now it's troops. I think from 3-2. I meet now that one Casper staff say, yo, what are you doing here? I said, no, man, patrol. He says, yo, you know, you are busy committing Samsonic homicide. You are committing. He says, my friend, yeah, we don't move with a platoon or a company here. Yeah, we move with a brigade. I realized, I just said, listen, the best way, move south and to west, southwest, move towards that direction. You know? And I think they were now coming for there was an operation also taking place. I know places now. I look at the map because we always brought other forces also, because our mission was to do patrols to make sure that UNITA, MPLA or FAPLA does not interfere with the flanks of own force. You know, like Regiment de la Rey, we know it was there. Regiment Moirefir, you know, 3261 Forsyth. So we decided now to move backwards. South, we're going towards now the west. As we moved, we decided to come to a place. I said to myself, listen, we've got only 1 month, then we have to go back. But I said, listen, I'm going to take it now easy. I'm not going to do now aggressive patrols. I can stay one place. But there was just one place we stayed now for 2 weeks. Whilst I was there were some troops which were brought from the front line to the rear. They were evacuated rear to the back. And now those troops were handed over to me. So now the troops, I remember it was Paseko, Rifleman Paseko. So they stayed with me. I said, now what happened? He said, no, I think they were in a contact. Some of the other troops were wounded or evacuated and he had malaria. So that's why he's there. So they had to stay with me to recover and all that. I think he stayed for a week with me. But one day whilst we were busy cooking, me and him, and we are talking about 3-2, and he's telling me their advance and what's that happening in the front line. And there comes now a air threat signal through the radio. And there was a MiG flying over us, and he pulled me into a trench. And that guy said he saved my life. But when I went to work in 3-2 1991, I met him there also, this Paseko. Until today, we are still friends. So later, when 3-2 withdrew back after the operation, they picked him up along the way, he left. And now we stayed in Angola few weeks, went also on a patrol. And whilst we were on the patrol, I think the helicopter was attacked and the TAC HQ. Now the TAC HQ, the commander was Louis Legrange, and the TAC HQ was moving from one place to one place. But as they are moving in, also one place, going deeper into Angola, remember the log lines get extended, they become long, you know. And the base was attacked. When the base was attacked, I think they realized that the people moved somewhere in our direction. And we got a signal somewhere from Major Legrange saying, 7-1. Why do you allow fucking Swapo to move through your ass? Huh? Hoekom toelaat julle Swapo om deur julle gatte te loop? Because they believe that Swapo pass somewhere between us, go and attack them. So I say, yeah, we are in shit, and they are cutting us over the radio and all that. So few days, as we are patrolling and we are sleeping somewhere, but we decided to sleep. We crossed the Omaramba. The Omaramba is an open place, normally water. And now we are doing the drill to cross the Omaramba, and then from there was a road. So we just slept next to the road because we can hear the noise. We say, maybe these people, they're going to move. Now we are shocked to say, listen, this is the enemy and they may attack us or whatever. But only to find out it was civilian. It's ladies. Then we had to grab them because we are afraid they're going to give our position away. We slept with them. We are asking them where they are going. They said, no. We are going for a wedding. Wedding, this time of the night? He said, yes. I said, no, I don't believe we kept them with us. But you know, when it comes about 11 at night, it's quiet. But now you can hear from afar. Yeah, people are singing and all that. No, we started believing, but we said, listen, we're not going to let you go. You will have to stay with us. Now the other lady says no, and the old man said, no, we are hungry. We can't go because we have to go and eat there. I said, no, don't worry. I've got food, I'll give you. I took one of my ration pack. It's got bully beef. The other one has got what is Viennas and all that. I open up for them, I give them, and I think the kids eat and the ladies, and it threw it away. So they didn't like it. Yeah. Now I'm cross because I try to give them to eat, and it's my last ration pack, and then they eat and then they throw it away and all that. Take my bottle of water, I give them water. They drink, they sleep with us on the TV. Then in the morning, we moved with them. Until we come at a crawl. From there, we make an all-round defense. And I went there with a section and the interpreter. Now we're asking them, listen, man, there are some of our people who were attacked and we had some casualties. Was there no people who came around London? The people said, no, there were people who came here from Swapo, but they also asked, haven't we seen new people? I said, oh, but which direction they go? They said, no, they went towards the south. Now we know if they go south, it means they are going to do infiltration from Angola into Namibia. I said, okay. So we left them there. We carried on with our patrols. We met at another place, and whilst we are there again, during the day, we are in the TV. But there comes a lady. She's moving with a girl. The girl is colored. It's a mixture, Portuguese between black and white. They call them mulatto or whatever, or mestizo. So when they came, then I stopped the lady. I said, man, where are you going to? He says, no, we are going to Namibia. Namibia, it's so far. I said, no, it's not far. We are used to this road. What are you going to do? I said, no, I'm taking the child. He's going to visit for holidays to his father. His father is having a shop in Namibia, so I have to go and drop him there and then come back. I said, no, man, give me this daughter. I will go with her to South Africa, look after her. Now I want to take now the girl. I said, no, give me the girl and I will look after her. Then you don't have to go up and down. He said, are you sure? I said, yeah. Very beautiful girl. But she could speak. She speaks Portuguese and she could speak also English. And now I get the details. They tell me where they stay. I said, no problem. Whilst I'm still here, I will make sure I will come. They said they're staying, I think, in Jofela, whatever. It's one of the places of Kwashima. So they went. We carried on. One day now I tell them, we are going, I said, Eliphas, we have to go now to Jofela. We left on a patrol, 5-10 kilos, we slept over. The next morning we met some people who said, listen, where is Kwashima? Now the guy tells now the interpreter, he says, Jofela Kwashima. He says, yes. Now we know if you do like this, it's 10 kilos. When you do like this, it's another 10. You know? Now I say, Eliphas, where is he? He said, no. He said, it's not this, so it's just here. I said, plus how many? He said, no, maybe about 3 to 5 Ks. I said, you sure? He said, yeah. We go. I said, but Eliphas, you cannot say, no. Not this, so it's not this, so. I think for the day we moved about 20 Ks. We're not even at the place where we really have to be. I said, Eliphas, listen, I'm not going any more further than this. We have to dig in. We're going to stay here. And I think in a few days, 2 weeks or what, I'm sure we will withdraw. We dug in. We stayed one place for a week and all that. I remember it was on a Sunday morning. It was about June. I think 11th of June or whatever. In the morning, there comes a radio message. And my my signaler, Jevuka, which is a sergeant major, he retired, Sergeant Major Jevuka, he says, 7-4, there's a message for you on the radio. I said, but who's that? He said, I don't know. They said, it's very urgent. Then I got a message. It was from the Tech HQ. They said, break up now and move back to Namibia. So now I'm excited. Because now, I mean, we came since when? January, it's about July now. I said to the troops, listen, break whatever, all these trenches we dig, close. But lock, we throw everything. Now we don't want to carry a lot because it's a distance. We came in to the Haag when we came from 5-4 to the Haag. From there, we buried some of the ammunition. We carry just enough so that if we can make a contact with the enemy, we must be able to fight our way through. So 10 o'clock, we really moved out of Angola. And we left, we moved. About after 3 days, we started again meeting other platoons coming together after we have seen each other for a very, very long time. And one day we made one big TV of a company and we're staying there. And one of the platoon lieutenant bought a goat, 2 of them. And they were slaughtered by the troops and they were hanged to become dry so that we can dry in the afternoon. Now this troop of mine, Liu, went down there and he cut one of the rear part of the goat, disappeared. I think later in the afternoon, the lieutenant want to make Brig, he go and check, but near man, he got ear boat. And now he asked, but somebody said, no, but we saw Liu somewhere, patrolling somewhere there. Now they asked Liu, where? He said, no, I've never seen a goat with 4 legs. I know only a goat with 3 legs. The lieutenant said, man, don't talk nonsense. Moenie strong praat nie. He said, nee, lieutenant, hoekom verdink julle as ek? While die boot afgesny het. You know, we let it go. And we had a bride there, you know, the first time after a long time having meet again. The next day, we started moving now again. We left the Sunday, we arrived, we crossed no man's land, previous trip, run about 12 o'clock. Crossing now into Namibia. And I took a photo of that. I might just check where is the photo. I have a photo which I took when I was talking with my troops. I will just have to check it. Where is it? We reached Inanna. We stayed for a few days. We demobbed. From that, we were taken again with the Samuels to Grootfontein. No, we was left at Oshikati. But whilst we were at Oshikati, that night also we were reft. We were again greeted by enemy fire at night. And I think SAI was in the base, so they did a pre-bombardment. But we suffered some casualties also, but not from 2-1. So that you could just see the helicopter going up and down and the ambulance and all that other thing. Yes, from next day, we were out back to the airport in the plane. OR Tambo, we landed. From OR Tambo to 1 battalion. Back from Angola. And when we are back in Angola, normally we have to stay about 7 days before we can go out of the unit. Just to be rehabilitated and all those other things. To try now to be integrated again into the society. And once I was now there, I had to go again now to the sick bay to go and look for this friend of mine, Steven Shubas. When I come there, they told me, no, he's finished now with his national service. But luckily they had his numbers. Remember those times there were no cell phones. They called him at home. I managed to speak to him. I said, hey, friend, I am back from Angola and all. They said, no problem. Let's plan a Saturday and let's meet. I'll come and fetch you. So really one Saturday he drove from Johannesburg, picked me up, drove back to Joburg, went for lunch, and I enjoyed my steak for the first time again. And chips, nice meal, vegetables, and yeah, having a good chat and everything, telling me hey, how I experienced the Cold War. And yeah, he came back, dropped me, and we parted ways. I've never seen him. He left until when I told you that after 42 years, as this he came back, we met again. But now, you know, I was still asking myself, what happened so that we could have left Angola so quickly? You know, it was quick. We never knew even what is the reason. But only to find out it was an implementation of Resolution 435. You know, where there was now a settlement or an agreement that South Africa, the SADF would withdraw from Angola back to Namibia. Castro will move out with his force to Cuba. And Gorbachev will move out with his troops back to the Soviet Union. Now we are moving from a Cold War, a bipolar war, where we see now the development of multilateralism. And you know, it was a very, very big debate also. Yeah, and here is a photo. You see when we cross now. This, you know? So yeah, the negotiations were not so easy. Negotiations were not so easy. You know, seeing South Africa helping UNITA, where you see the Russians, the Cubans helping MPLA and SWAPO. You know, back now reading into the history, when I was now studying history, and I realized the geopolitics of the Cold War. A war which started in the 60s and came to an end in 1988. But remember also, just as SADF was pulling down, again they were surprised by an attack. But there was a quick demobilization where again SWAPO have to some casualties. But everything came to now, and Namibia got independence. Yes, I was working in in 21 Battalion. Later again, now I approach again the officer command to say, when am I going to get my rank? Because I've done the course and all that, and I've been told I must wait and wait. Yes, nee, je moet nog net bietjie wag, want ons is besig met die proses. But it doesn't come. Later then, I put a resignation letter. I want to resign. Now I'm called again to the office in the morning. And the commandant looked, he says, listen, I can see that you want to resign. I said, yes. He says, no problem. I don't have a problem. But we have to pay the state back because we have spent so much money on you. We have invested on you. We can't let you go. You must buy yourself out. And how much? I think about 22,000. I mean, 22,000 by that time is a lot of money. I don't even get, I think my salary by that time, maybe I was getting about 700-800 a month. And I realized, but how am I going now? Now I'm standing there, you know, on attention, looking at him, and I don't know what to say. I'm demoralized. He says, now you have the money, no problem. We'll get your authority from Pretoria, and then you can go. I said, okay. I saluted. I went. Then I went to write another statement. I want transfer to Kimberley Danitron to go to the Intelligence Corps. I wrote the statement, and I remember my company commander said, no, if there's a position for blacks in the Intelligence Corps, but currently there is none. Oh, now I'm demoralized again. Now the commandant said, no, you have to stay here, and anyhow, soon you will also get promotion, we'll sort your things out. Then I wrote another transfer, so I want to go to Kimberley. But it took long, but we went on doing patrols in Soweto and all that, you know. So it was again good, you know, to see Soweto, how big is it, very diverse community. And we'll do also urban training right in Soweto at Moroka Police Station. It was nice, and then, you know, you learn and all that. But we enjoyed the community. And on weekends, you know, when you're off, you go to Soweto. Because sometimes you go and listen to Blondie and Maken, some music, Brenda Fassie, and all those other things. You know, we started meeting people like Juluka. You know, yeah, it went. And one day I was from the patrol. I come to the unit after handing on my weapons, looking up ammunition, making sure everything is safe and all that. I went to wash. Run about to 4, I went to the mess. But on my way to the mess, I saw a woman coming towards my direction. We passed. Before she passed me, I greeted the woman. And she never even said hello or what. She just carried on, you know. I think she went to eat, I went to eat. For 2 days, I saw this woman. But during the second day, then I decided, man, who are these? I saw some guys. And I asked them, listen, I saw a lady, like a white woman passing here. And the guy said, no, it's my sister. I said, oh, where are you from? What are you doing here? He said, no. We are Portuguese, but we are from Namibia. And I said, your sister, is she a soldier? He said, no, she's not a soldier, she's a teacher. She's teaching English and maths. But they were put in uniform, but teaching, she was a school teacher. I said, man, hey, I love that woman, I want to talk to her. And the guy looks at me and says, hey, I don't think that woman will talk to you. She's my sister, but I don't promise, I don't think so. I said, are you sure? He said, no, man, just talk to her today. Tomorrow when I knock off, I'll come straight here. He says, no problem, I'll talk to her. Now the guy's name is Ernesto, he's a brother. And he's a teacher to the brother. Okay. The next day, I think it was on a Thursday or Friday, I'm coming back, I'm excited from patrol, pack my things quick from the troops and all that. I said, listen, I have to rush and go look for this woman. It's lunchtime. When I come down, I say, oh, those people are gone. Where to? No, back to Namibia. They left this morning to Jan Smuts Airport, took her airport. Now I lost. I got my transfer 1989 to Ciskei. When I come to Ciskei now, remember also, when South Africa, after the Cold War, after Resolution 435, South Africa again now was going through its transformation of redeploying its military units, getting another new posture. Now Ciskei, which was in Potchefstroom, had to move where? to Danitron in Kimberley, where 11 Commando was, occupied that facilities. And intelligence school had to move from there where to Potchefstroom, where they are currently now, where it was Treeside. Now I'm transferred there. I thought I'm going now. I'll go and work at the intelligence. And the first person I meet there was the OC. There was no OC there. There was an acting. It was a major. I just forgot the surname, and he just passed on. As a full colonel, he was working at J-Ops. So he asked me, "Who are you?" I tell him who I am. I'm from 2-1. But he said, "Why are you not wearing uniform?" I said, "No, I only came back late last night, and I'm still also waiting for some luggage. I never get some of my uniform still. I'm waiting for it." He says, "No, okay, it's fine. You are going to work with the HQ company. Now, HQ is now the log, transport, HR, signalers, everything. And it's national services, white guys, you know." Now, remember one day, Hayes asked me, when I was doing preparation course, I remember I told you the story, said, "Sereko, what can you do as you qualifier? There's a junior layer." And I told him, "So I want to be the first black to command whites." And now in Treeside, I've got now all these white troops in front of me, working with them. And I think it was also the last year of the national service also. National service was coming to an end. And I remember one boy, it was Griesel, very nice guy. And sometimes on weekends saying, "Corporal, ek vra net om Vrydag vroeg te China, want ek moet ry pos toe, huis toe." He said, "No, I'll ask Friday if I can knock off 10 o'clock so that I can drive early and reach safe home for the weekend. I'll be back Sunday." I said, "Oh, Griesel, I don't know." I said, "Hey, and don't worry, when I come back, I'll bring you Drovors, Biltong." I said, no problem. And yeah, we had a good relationship with these troops. And it was so funny. They say, "Listen, what? Ons hou nie om fokken met wit instructeurs, want hulle fok ons op. We don't like working with the white instructors because they mess us around. You are such a gentleman." And I just couldn't believe how we went along and all that. They cleared out. They left. Then we got our first officer command. It was Colonel van der Riet, Marius van der Riet. He was involved in the JMCC when we were through. Very tall guy. He was about 2 meters long. And now every Wednesday, we will go for sports and we will go and play volleyball. And now remember when he plays long, he's just doing like this, and so he doesn't even jump, he just does like that. And we enjoyed. But one day I'm coming from transport, he's moving around in the unit and he sees me. He says, "Corporal, come here." "But who are you?" I said, "No, I'm Sereko. I'm transferred here. I'm not also long here. I'm new in the unit. I'm from 2-1 Battalion." He says, "Okay, is everything okay? Have you settled salary? Have you got any problem?" I said, "No. I saw I didn't get salary this month, but I don't know what is it." He says, "No, that can't be." He says, "See me 10:30. 10:30, I really went to his office. The paymaster was also there and HR. He said, "Yo, I think the truth says he's not getting salary. What is it?" And they went and checked. He says, No. We have asked for an order, a Ciskei order from aangevra. He will get his money." He says, "No, it's fine. We'll tell you when the money is in the bank." After 2-3 days, I got called, said, "No, your salary is in." Now I said to the colonel, I said, "No, don't worry, I'll check it when I knock off." He said, No, not when you knock off. Now. I said, "No, but transport." He said, No. He took the key of the car. He gave me his car. But I don't have a military license. I remember it was a Mazda 626, these long ones, they were just even coming in. He said, No. I said, "No, Colonel, I don't have a military." He said, No, get yourself a driver or get yourself to town and go and check for your salary. I went to transport. I got a driver there. I said, Grisel, got me one of the transport drivers. I gave him the key. Off we went to town, to First National Bank. Went down there, I checked, no, really, I got my salary. I came back. I went to wash the car. After washing the car, we went, took it to the battalion. I go and hand the key. I said, Colonel, thank you very much. I've got my salary. And I brought back the car, no accident, nothing, and we did wash it, it's clean. And he said, no, thank you. And yeah, we started working. And now, you know, the SADF had a culture. The 16th of January, the 15th of January, you must be back in the unit. Then there's a schedule from 6:30. It's one-on-one discussion with the OC. You go and talk about your career. And I remember it was my turn. It's about just after 10. I went to his office. He's sitting with the HR Major Pretorius and himself, and he has his file in front of him. He opens up. He says, well, Sereko, I can see the jails gedoen. Jy was by die operasionele gebied 2 keer. Ek sien jy is terug. Maar vir jou bevordering om sergeant te raak, jy moet eers perskursus doen en 1 bekwaamheidskursus. I said, no problem, sir. But he said, I'm going to nominate you to do parachute, to go and jump, and the other one you go and do spoorsnake. I said, no, even I was in Angola, I was not qualified, but I was tracker because how I learned trekking. I learned trekking when I was going to the golf course. Because I will leave in the morning, I will able to see when the grass is wet, I will able to see if people have already came before me because of the grass is dove but so late. Or even a snake, I could see where the snake have moved, you know, in the bunker or whatever. So I said, no, it's fine. So I went to Bergslag to go and do a course, trekking course. But once I was in Bergslag, I think it was 89, 90, there was an election of the clerk or whatever of the National Party. Now I remember that morning, we formed up and they say, whites, this side, we are on the course. Colors, that side, blacks, that side. Now everybody scrambled to where they are being designated a place to stand. Now I'm the only one standing there on standard east. Now the instructor asked me, it was a staff, I just forgot his name. He says, Sereko, where are you going? Where do you fall in? Waar gaan jy train? With the blankers or the swarters of the clearlands? Are you going to follow either whites or the blacks or the colors? And I look at him, I said, no. He said, but if you say no, where? I said, no, you forgot to call the nigger. I didn't hear where the niggers must form up. And now everybody started laughing, you know. And now everybody started calling me, hey, nigger. You know? Then I went, I said, no, don't worry, staff. I'm going to fall up there. And the blacks, he said, no, are you not a colored? You supposed to? I said, no, I belong there. And, you know, everybody laughed. It became a joke. Yeah, people went to vote. They are back. And every day we'll do the trekking. And before also we did the trekking, we started with the survival lectures and our clothes were taken. So now you have to make your own, get your own food, make your own basha to sleep, make your own utensils to eat. But I decided, no, man, I'm not going to go over all this thing of making now, cutting a bark and, you know, to make a plate and all that. But I had my basha. Now, one night, the instructors are eating. Now they call us to form up. It's about 7 in the evening. They say, okay, you must form up so that you can come and dish yourself food. Yeah, we come on the line only to find out we are getting soup. It's a mix of fall-offs from the peeled potatoes and all that. They just make soup just to give it a nice smell. because it's survival. Now everybody must come with this plate. I don't have a plate. So yeah, what now? I just take my hands and I put there and I eat from there. But the next day I said, I must go and make my plate. Otherwise, I'm going to die of hunger. So yeah, we are doing 14 days of survival and all that. There was 2 lieutenants from Malawi. No, from Zambia. I remember Mukutu and Mutera, who were also part of the course. And you can see that some of these guys were like half dying because of hunger for that survival. You know? And we got punished and all that, you know, to make sure that they give you the strength. Because as a trekker, you must have discipline, you must have energy, you must be able to persevere, you must be strong and all that. Yeah, 21 days passed. The first time we are getting a good meat now. And from there we start trekking now, doing trekking, anti-trekking, and sometimes we trek through the farmers. There was one farmer, a lady, he called us. He said, "Jong, wat soek julle? Wat stap julle so deur my plas?" We said, "Nee, tannie, ons doen spoorsny." Waarom kom julle ons nie van Bugslag, maar ons kamp is nie ver nie, just here. He said, "Okay." He said, "Okay, soek julle lemoene?" We said, "Yeah." "You want oranges?" We said, "Yes." He said, "No, we can get some." Yeah, I get myself a lot in my bag, and we carried on. Now, when we go back, one of the guys didn't have. Now they want to take my thing, my oranges. Yeah, we had a big fight. I defended my turf and all that. A guy by the surname Gerner, and I said, "You can't make lemoene vat." Yeah, we went. We finished the course. I did exceptionally well also on the track. I think I was one of the best students. We go back to Ciskei. I think I was hardly not 2 weeks in the unit. Then there comes a signal. I must go now to I was seconded to Ciskei Defence Force to go and train now the parachute battalion on trekking and survival and all that. So yeah, I had to report in Bugslag. From Ciskei, I went to Bugslag. From there, we mobilized vehicles and everything. We packed our things. Off we drove.
Well, internet, you know, I had to interrupt the general here. Simply because the cat, I don't know if you guys can see it, actually wants food. There's 2 baby cats and they came here. Rebecca has gone somewhere, I'm not sure where she went to. But this is a fantastic story. I'm so enjoying it. Thank you so much. It really is. You know what, when you were talking about, there's so many raakpunte, it is unbelievable. It is really, to me, a soldier story. There's no other way of describing this. It is a soldier story. I remember that day when Mr. Mandela was released, we were also deployed in a police counterinsurgency units. And we were there, what we called it a triangle or hell or something. We were Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, right there. We were there doing counter-terrorism duties. The SADF took over later there. I'm sure you know the area well. And we actually had an incident because they started shooting at us from across the border from Botswana.
Yeah.
And what was fascinating, we were watching them, we were observing them, and we saw white soldiers walking with the Botswana guys, and we later figured out this must be the British Army BMAT or whatever training them. And we weren't that impressed, to be honest with you, because we thought they were moving way too quick. They weren't, they were just moving. It was almost like they were not paying attention. And we were still, and the day after that, one of the helicopters actually came and it hung right from the river. And then it had like machine guns, rocket pops and things, pockets on the side. And for the first time in my life, I was looking at that thing and I thought to myself, now we're dead. If that damn pilot starts shooting, there's no way. I mean, they're going to not even find our bodies. I mean, and that's when I realized the danger of air support if it's against you. Yeah. Or, you know, and so glad you mentioned the lack of air superiority in Angola in the last years. I mean, we had to move without those things. And yeah, but I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that in the future. I just want to confirm with you, sir, your book is still coming out on 12 August, right?
Yes, my book is still coming out. I know I had an email today. They are also trying to look at the dates for the book launch. But yeah, I think it's on track. But I'll keep you updated. I know a lot of people are waiting also for the book.
Yes, thank you for that. And we will keep you updated here at Legacy as well. So I'm looking forward to the third episode. I just said to the General, there's a bit of a family connection here. My mom was in the embassy in the Ciskei in King Williamstown. I was there around myself. And then he went there. Our chaplain on Olivier was in that area. He defused quite a few bombs at the Papagello. One of those bombs he defused there. So yeah, small world, small world. Yeah, the rest of you guys, please subscribe, spread the word, get hold of the General's book. I'm looking forward to that book, man. We're going to enjoy that. And God bless her until we meet again.
Again, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to receive notifications.